In a world addicted to noise, emotion, and reaction, the man who stays still becomes unreadable. And unreadable men are difficult to control. While others rush to speak, justify themselves, or display what they feel, you slow down. You observe. You let silence do the work. Emotional men leak information. Calm men collect it. Every reaction you suppress gives you leverage. Every pause you take forces the other side to reveal itself. This isn't weakness. This is control sharpened to a blade. You're not here to argue, impress, or explain. You're here to dominate outcomes. Calm is the foundation of that dominance. Without it, power collapses into impulse. With it, every move becomes intentional. Most people think calm is a mood. It isn't. Calm is a posture. It's a decision you keep making when your body wants to react. When chaos hits, the average man becomes predictable. He tries to restore comfort quickly. He fills silence. He sends the message. He takes the trade. He throws the words. He reaches for control in the loudest way possible, and the world reads him instantly. But there's another kind of human being, the kind who feels the same pressure and still refuses to flinch. That person doesn't rush to be understood. He lets misunderstandings sit. He lets others talk themselves into exposing intent. If this is locking in, comment, I move in silence. Ruthless thinking is the next layer, and most men misunderstand it. Ruthlessness is not cruelty. It's not anger. It's not chaos. It's clarity stripped of sentiment. It is the ability to see people, situations, and systems exactly as they are, not as you wish them to be. Most men lose because they let emotion rewrite reality. They soften decisions to avoid discomfort. They hesitate because they fear being judged. They choose approval over effectiveness and call it being a good person. Then they wonder why they keep losing to men who don't need permission. Ruthless thinking asks one question and refuses to apologize for it. What works? Not what feels right. Not what sounds moral. Not what gets praise. What works? When you adopt that standard, illusions collapse. You stop romanticizing loyalty that isn't proven. You stop trusting words over patterns. You stop assuming fairness in a world built on leverage. You accept discomfort as a tool. Detachment hurts. Letting people go hurts. Cutting dead weight hurts. But pain endured now prevents destruction later. While others cling to comfort, you cut what compromises position. While others wait for permission, you take it quietly, early, and without noise. This mindset also trains calm under pressure because you've already rehearsed worst-case scenarios in private. Fear loses its grip when you've looked at loss directly and decided to move anyway. Ruthless men don't hope. They prepare. They don't complain. They adjust. They don't seek sympathy. They seek advantage. And they keep this thinking invisible because the moment people sense how sharp you are, they defend themselves. So you let them believe you're agreeable, reasonable, harmless. Inside, you are calculating timing, distance, alignment, and consequences. You don't rush moves because rushed moves expose intent. You don't announce plans because announced plans invite interference. You wait. You watch. You strike only when the result's inevitable. This is where moving unseen becomes more than a style. It becomes a strategy. Loud men announce ambition. Weak men broadcast intention. Insecure men telegraph every move because they need witnesses. You don't. You understand that visibility invites resistance, and resistance slows momentum. The most dangerous actions are the ones nobody notices until the outcome is permanent. When you move unseen, you deny others the chance to interfere, sabotage, or prepare against you. You become a variable they never calculated. Silence is not accidental. Privacy is not fear. It is discipline. You stop narrating your life. You stop seeking applause for progress. You stop explaining what you're building, who you're becoming, or where you're headed. Every explanation gives someone a chance to doubt you, discourage you, or quietly work against you. Instead, you let results speak when it's too late to stop them. You act when conditions align, not when emotions peak. You let impatience burn others out while you conserve energy. You let them make mistakes publicly while you refine position privately. While they chase attention, you build leverage. While they argue, you accumulate options. And if you trade, you've seen the same law on the chart. The loud trader needs constant action to feel alive. He clicks to escape silence. He chases candles because waiting feels like weakness. He confuses motion with progress and calls it grind. But the market doesn't reward the loud. It rewards the precise. It rewards timing. It rewards the one who can sit through noise and only move when the setup is mature. That's why a structured approach like CLS doesn't just test your entries. It tests your identity. It forces you to wait. It forces you to tolerate boredom. It forces you to accept that most of the day is not for you. And that restraint is part of the edge. If you recognize yourself in that, comment, "I'm Hunter." Emotional detachment is what makes all of this sustainable. Detachment isn't coldness for its own sake. It's strategic superiority refined through discipline. The moment you allow emotions to dictate decisions, you surrender authority over your future. Anger makes you reckless. Desire makes you desperate. Attachment makes you predictable. And predictability is the doorway through which control enters. You are not here to feel everything deeply and obey it. You are here to choose deliberately. Detachment lets you step outside the storm and see the whole battlefield while others are blinded by impulse. You stop reacting to disrespect because reaction is a gift to the other side. You stop chasing approval because approval is a currency controlled by weak men seeking leverage. You stop clinging to people because attachment clouds judgment and distorts reality. Detached men are hard to manipulate because nothing external owns their internal state. Praise doesn't inflate them. Criticism doesn't destabilize them. Loss doesn't paralyze them. They process information, not emotion. They adapt, not spiral. Patience is where time turns into a weapon. Patience isn't waiting aimlessly. It's controlled delay backed by certainty. Most men rush because they're afraid. Afraid of being forgotten. Afraid of missing out. Afraid that if they don't act now, they'll lose relevance. That fear makes them sloppy. It makes them loud. It makes them visible before they're ready. You don't make that mistake. You understand time favors the disciplined, not the desperate. When you are patient, you allow situations to mature, people to expose themselves, and leverage to accumulate quietly in your favor. This is why silence unsettles people. They start to wonder why you're not reacting, why you're not competing, why you're not scrambling like everyone else. Curiosity destabilizes them. They begin to reveal impatience, and impatience always leaks intent. Patient men don't reveal intent. They let others expose theirs. In trading, this is the difference between chasing volatility and waiting for alignment. In life, it's the difference between performing strength and being strong. Control always begins internally. Any man who tries to dominate the external world without mastering his internal one is building on unstable ground. Eventually, it collapses. Most men are enslaved inside. Their moods dictate behavior. Their impulses hijack plans. Their need for validation steers their decisions. They think they're free, but they're reaction machines, triggered by praise, provoked by disrespect, pulled by desire, paralyzed by fear. The moment you decide your inner state is non-negotiable, you step out of that cycle. You don't allow chaos inside because chaos inside eventually becomes failure outside. This is why discipline matters more than motivation. Motivation fades. Discipline remains. Discipline trains you to act regardless of emotion, to stay silent when angry, to delay gratification when temptation is loud. Every time you override impulse, you reclaim authority over yourself. Self-authority is the highest form of power a man can possess. And at a certain point, you learn to become unreachable without becoming absent. You don't disappear completely and lose influence. You don't stay over-accessible and lose respect. You become unreachable in the ways that matter, emotionally, psychologically, strategically. People can't pull you into drama on demand. They can't extract reactions like payment. Your attention is guarded. Your emotions are not public property. Your time is in open access. This isn't arrogance. It's self-respect weaponized through boundaries. When fewer people have access to you, your thinking gets cleaner. Your decisions slow down in the right way. You stop absorbing unnecessary emotional residue. You stop carrying problems that aren't yours. Silence becomes productive instead of uncomfortable. Solitude becomes a tool instead of a threat. You stop chasing closure from people who don't deserve that access. You understand that walking away without noise is often the strongest statement. Real power is built when no one is watching. Most men want proof before effort, validation before commitment, attention before endurance. That's why they stay average. You work when no one is watching. You discipline yourself when no one is holding you accountable. You sharpen your mind when no one is praising progress. Boredom becomes a test. Repetition becomes a filter. Solitude becomes a forge. You show up daily not because it feels good, but because consistency compounds invisibly until it becomes undeniable. Then comes timing, when to strike, when to vanish, and when to let others destroy themselves. Weak men act whenever emotion spikes. Strong men act only when outcomes are guaranteed. You become surgical. You observe long enough to know who overplays their hand, who speaks too much when nervous, who collapses under pressure. People reveal themselves eventually. You don't interrupt that process. You let arrogance grow. You let mistakes compound. You let impatience sabotage them from within. When you move, it's clean and final. No warning, no emotional release, just repositioning that leaves them confused about when the ground shifted. At the highest level, everything simplifies into one truth. The man who needs nothing cannot be controlled. Need is the hidden chain around most men's necks. The need to be liked, the need to be chosen, the need to be validated, admired, reassured, included. These needs turn strong men into negotiable men. They compromise standards for comfort. They trade leverage for approval. They accept disrespect to avoid isolation. You stop doing that. You still engage, but you don't cling. You still build alliances, but you don't rely on them for identity. You still enjoy outcomes, but you don't attach worth to them. That is why calm becomes dangerous. That is why detachment becomes superior. That is why patience becomes lethal. Because when you no longer need the world to cooperate with your emotions, the world loses its ability to steer you. If this way of operating is settling into you, comment, "Nothing controls me." And if you want more of this kind of controlled, tactical mindset, subscribe so you don't miss the next one.